Good morning, good afternoon, or good evening, wherever you are. I'm here to talk to you today about getting rid of CRUD and revealing intent with your API. Fair warning, this is a domain-driven design talk hidden as a API specification talk. Anyway, to tell you about myself, I'm a senior software engineer at Microsoft. My focus over the last 10 or so years has been on rich domain modeling to address complex systems. You can find me on Twitter at Brownie Point and at the web on my website, The Guy Who Codes, where I infrequently blog. So the first thing I want to talk about is the importance of design in creating an API. This excerpt is taken from a book called Streamline Object Modeling. It is written about 1997, but it was a follow-up to Peter Code's book on color modeling, which I will talk about later. And basically what they talk about in this excerpt is how we kind of threw the baby out with the bathwater when we went away from the process-heavy approach to software development and switched into agile. I think it's possible to be agile while also taking the time to create a design to understand what you are attempting to build. In fact, I think that helps you be even more agile by taking that moment to think about it up front. Off the top of my head, I can give 3 benefits of domain modeling. One is that it gives you a deeper understanding of the problem space. You're able to talk in depth with the stakeholders. Think of your objects in the terms that the business users think of them, rather than having concerns and concepts lost in translation. It gives you greater communication. Of course, one thing that Eric Evans talks about is the ubiquitous language. Because you're both talking the same language, you're able to discuss them together without having anything lost in translation. And finally, it provides for richer and more flexible code if you approach it properly. It's not inherently going to give it to you, but if you use an approach that follows the principles of object modeling and looks for creating intent revealing object model with operations that belong to an object rather than just creating CRUD objects, you're able to create a more flexible design. So the question is, why do we take this time to tease out these details and tease out this more supple design behind the scenes, and we don't share it with our API? I think we should be doing that, and I think that benefit, again, exposing CRUD on your API makes it more brittle. So you're exposing the details of how your system works rather than what your system does. And first, of course, there's a caveat. Just like with domain-driven design in general, this approach isn't for a simple system. It isn't for a simple, straightforward application. So if I want to send tweets, there's no reason to create a complex, domain model behind it. It's just a blurb of text, who sent it and at what time, So yes, a simple RESTful interface will work in that situation. This is for more complex operations and more complex systems. I'm going to be giving an example using a conference management system. It's simple for the sake of hiding the the accidental complexity so that we can talk about the process and the technique. So I mentioned earlier about Peter Code's color-based modeling. And basically what he defined was a domain neutral component. He identified 4 different archetypes within all object models. You have the moment interval, which I would call a transaction or an event. These are the driving forces of all systems. You have parties, which is a person, place, or thing. Well, a party is a organization or a person, a legal entity, basically. And parties play roles within transactions, within events. You have a descriptor for a party, and in the same way, places and things play roles within events. So the event is a collaboration between multiple objects, multiple entities. Usually when we model events, we elide those, we represent those as junction tables. So if you, in a naive implementation, you might have say a project management system where you have a project and you have employees working on the project, and you'll call that junction table project employees. Instead, what you need to do is pull out that transaction that between the project and the employees and say, hey, this is an assignment. And that assignment, it happens at a date, it happens on the start date, it goes to an end date. And there's more data that's hidden in that junction than what would be available if you didn't record it explicitly. So the transactions and the events in the system are what drive it, and everything else is just incidental. Also, what's key here is that we're making roles explicit. So again, in a naive HR system, you might have an employee, and then a manager would extend from an employee. Well, that makes a lot of clutter on the employee object, on the manager object, because they are 2 different concepts. And so rather than trying to have it all in one object, you say, okay, there's this person, Michael Brown, and depending on what he's doing in the system, he might be an employee or he might be a manager. And those roles that you play in the system allow you to become the engine of the transaction. So this role creates a new transaction, and we'll go into details in that. But I just want to give an overview of what this talk is all about. Basically, what the basic flow of this architecture is. Also, what you see inherent in here is there's a prior and a next transaction or event. So before you can hire an employee, he has to apply for a job. So that will be a prior MI, which will be recorded in the system. And this also allows you to capture business rules within the object model rather than having to use another system and having the actual rules for managing it hidden in like store procedures or other transactional entities that have nothing to do with the system itself. So what we want to do for our operations is to focus on our commands and our transactions over the resources. So typically a RESTful API will have resources and then CRUD operations on them. Let's focus on emphasizing these commands and transactions so that so that it is more elaborate. It elaborates more what's going on and provides other benefits. What's the command? Basically, a command is a signal rather than it being the operation itself. It's telling the system that I want to perform this operation. So it's not the actual operation that doesn't do the work. So I don't say update this record. I say I want to add a new talk to my speaker portfolio. The command contains context. So it's, again, like I said, you're recording when it happened, when it was requested. You're also recording why it's requested. Why did this change happen in my system? It's because this command was fired. And finally, the command is audible. You're able to record, because it's reified, you're able to record who did it, when they did it, and also record what kind of authentication the user had and other business rules that are required. And what's a transaction? Just like a command, a transaction is time-based. It says, hey, this occurred. The transaction tells you when it occurred, when it ended, if it's a multi-point transaction. They're collaborative. So a transaction is an interaction between two entities, either one entity creating another, one entity, like for instance, in a delivery system or a shipping system. I want to send a package from one person to a recipient. There's a transaction that happens there. And the transaction might also have multiple follow-on transactions associated with it. Like I ship it, it gets picked up from the shipping station, it gets delivered to point A and checked off at point B, and then finally delivered to its destination. And then other, failure transactions can happen as well. And also, the transactions are basically the glue that binds the system. Like I said, when you see junction tables between an employee and a project, the transaction there is the assignment. That's what combines these two entities together and relates them to each other. So it's sad that in a lot of cases we're hiding these transactions from the system. We're just showing them as collections on our object model rather than making them explicit with their own identity. And here, brought in an example of a transaction. So as part of this conference management system, you have an organization that hosts the conference. You have multiple sessions within the conference. You have people who act as moderators or attendees or presenters. Again, so I'm an attendee of ASC as well as the presenter here. So I myself will serve multiple roles depending on what I'm doing right now. My role is presenter, and I have a specific session within the conference. Again, you also see the follow-up. In order for me to have a session, there had to be a conference created first. In order for me to be enrolled as an attendee at the conference, which, I'm not representing in this model, it had to be established and I had to register. So this session itself is me being a presenter at this conference. Again, we're capturing these transactions and making them explicit rather than hiding them within a collection. Finally, you want to give your objects agency. And basically what it is that all transactions have a primary actor. There's something that initiates a transaction. You want to issue a command to the actor, and the actor is what's responsible for initiating and driving the transaction. So how does that look? In an API, we can look at version 1.0 as a more simple, straightforward API, where we have a presentation endpoint where I can get and I can add a presentation. So the presentation model includes the ID, includes name, description, and speaker. Of course, the speaker is a separate object as well. And listing the presentations, I can go to the presentation and call get and request, filter it by a query string, do a skip limit, so forth and so on, the usual semantics of creating a RESTful presentation, RESTful API. In version 2, I put the presentation responsibility for creating the presentation under the speaker. We still have the general get presentations list, which returns the list. But here I say, I go into the specific speaker and say, hey, I want you to create this presentation. I'm going to send you the presentation I want to create. And of course, it'll contain more than just the description. But notice what's missing. I don't have to add in the speaker here because I'm already in the context of the speaker. I'm saying, hey, create this presentation as a speaker. And so what I'm given, instead of a presentation object, I'm given a command which contains the data that the command needs to be executed. And now when I'm requesting a speaker, my speaker object, it knows that it needs to return the details about what the presentation is, including the speaker. So my command itself doesn't have to concern. I don't have to say, oh, I don't need the ID because in some cases I won't have it. I say, hey, here's the command I want to give, and here's the data that I need to execute that command as a speaker. And finally, what returns from that command request is a result, because again, we're going to be eventually consistent. So I'm going to get a command back, a command result back, and it'll say it's processing. And then I can query on that command itself on, say, a command I didn't put this into the API itself, but I would query on the speaker commands or on a general commands endpoint to say, hey, give me back this command. Is it completed? Where's the results of it? And finally, that completed result would give me the resource that I asked to have created. Going a step further, since we know that a speaker has commands, why don't we ask for, or since we know the speaker has presentations, why don't we ask him specifically to give me his list of presentations? So now I can say, hey, just give me the list of presentations for this speaker. Again, this looks similar to the standard REST interface where you would dive into a specific user and get that information off of them. But again, it's being more explicit by saying, hey, I know the speaker has these objects. Let me get those for that speaker specifically, rather than saying, oh, let me look at the general list of presentations and then filter them by speaker. And again, we still have the global list of presentations. Now, for the organizers, you know, they will have other resources that they work with. And as a host for a conference, you would you would say one command might be accept paper or accept proposal for a conference, and that will allow you to again um, have the agency of your actors within your system more explicit. It will also allow you to um, map. It maps very nicely to an actor framework. So if you're using an actor framework in the background, you can say, "Hey, give me this this specific speaker actor, and say create a presentation, or give me this specific host actor and say, accept accept this talk." And so that makes your API more fluent. It makes it more flexible, because adding new functionality or features does not rely on the details of the resources. You're able to say, "Hey, I need to have a new." Let's say we have a new transaction. Well, that new transaction might have a new role associated with it. So that would be a new resource altogether that doesn't impact your existing system. So that includes the ability to create contextual APIs where bounded context can come into play, where I consider these entities in a different way depending on what context I'm looking at the system. So that is an approach to bringing, rich domain modeling and exposing it onto your API itself. If anyone has any questions, please, I can look through the chat and find. Oh no, just comments. Yes, it is public, and someone took the time to post it. If it's not published, I'm not sure if I published it or not, but it looks like it's showing publicly. Oh yes, so I was able to talk with you about this before the conference, and I see that you decided to go a separate endpoint, not one for all commands, one for creating, one for queries. I think there's still value in creating the endpoint so that you can again segregate the operations based on context. I think I was going a little bit too far down the rabbit hole when I said, "Hey, let's just have one endpoint for commands and one for all queries." I think there is value in separating and creating a contextual flow to creating your commands and queries. Well, this is odd, of course, given the presentation without having direct interaction from the attendees. Is it hard? That's a good question. So normally, like I said, there tends to be a primary actor, even when there's multiple collaborations. So the book I referenced earlier on is Streamlined Object Modeling. Again, that goes into great detail about how to how to create collaboration patterns within your object model. And I think that's a great place to get more insight into the process. Do you expose commands or transact? Yes, yes. So I believe that's a great option. Is that, because when I execute a command, I get a command result. So I have basically a transaction ID for it that I can, in effect, attempt to cancel if it hasn't already successfully executed. Of course, um, yeah, if it's already executed, then you want to have a reversal command. So like if something's been shipped already, you can't just say cancel it. You have to say, okay, return. Those are great questions. Well, I'll be around in case anyone has any more questions. But again, you can reach out to me. I'm on Twitter at Brownie Points, and I'll be here in the chat. Yes, that's the book. Also, see. Let me get the link for the book by Peter Code. That makes sense, actually. There are multiple approaches to how to address that, Sebastian. So Sebastian asked, if we want the same auditability, wouldn't it be better to make cancel another command which targets the original? Thank you, everyone. Please. Thank you. Enjoy the rest of the conference, everybody.